So this question asks, what are the properties of roots? So simply put, let's say you have square root of a times square root of a, you will get a. Okay, so let's look at some example. Like if you have, let's say, square root of 5 times square root of 5. According to this rule here, the properties of roots, you're going to get 5. And to prove it, we can say that square root of 5 times square root of 5 is the same as square root of 25, which you know that is equal to 5, because this is asking what number times itself will give you 25, and that is 5. Okay, so what about square root of 7 times square root of 7 equals what? So according to our property here, you're going to get 7, but to prove it to you, we'll say square root of 7 times square root of 7 is square root of 49, which you should ask yourself, what number times itself will give you 49? And that is 7. Okay, now here's a curveball for you. What is the square root of x squared? Okay, so what times itself will give you x squared? If you say x, you are correct, because x times x is x squared. Okay, so that's your answer. Let's look at some more challenging one. Feel free to stop the video at any time to go over and look at the samples again if necessary. So let's say you have square root of 4x to the 6th power. What would you get? Okay, so we can break this down into square root of 4 times square root of x to the 6th. Okay, so what number times itself will give you 4? If you say 2, you are correct. Now, for this second part here, you can write square root of x to the 6th as x to the 6 over 2. And the reason is because you can assume that there's a 2 here. This will be your denominator, okay? The 6 will be the numerator up top. Now, 6 divided by 2 is 3. So for our final answer, we can say that the square root of 4x to the 6 is 2x to the 3rd power. Okay. If that's not enough for you, let's look at an even more challenging one here. Again, please feel free to stop the clip at any time to go over the question again if it doesn't make sense. Okay. Well, that's what's great about this technology that we have here. So you have the square root of 16x to the 4th, y to the 10th. What would you get? Using the same approach that we did in the previous example, give it a try. Push pause on this video and see if you can figure this out. Now I'm going to break this down into 3 components, the first of which is the square root of 16. Okay, and then I'm going to put the square root of x to the 4th, and then the square root of y to the 10th. Okay, so ask yourself here, what number times itself will give you 16? If you say 4, you are correct. 4 times 4 is 16. Now for this, you can write this. Again, remember we mentioned that there's a little 2 here, but we just don't see it. So technically, you can write this as x to the 4 over 2. Okay? And then again, you can assume there's a 2 here. So for the y term, we can write it as y to the 10 over 2. Which you can simplify into 4 divided by 2 is 2. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So here we have 4 x to the 2nd, y to the 5th. It doesn't get any easier than that.